Picture August 6, 1945. It is a beautifully sunny, completely ordinary Monday morning in Hiroshima.
Just a normal day.
Yeah, exactly. People are heading to work, kids are settling into their first period at school, and then a 43-second free fall of a weapon just completely shatters that morning.
And, well, changes human history forever.
Right. Okay, let's unpack this, because today we're doing a deep dive into a stack of historical documentary sources. We really want to explore the geopolitical buildup, the devastating reality on the ground, and that intensely debated moral dilemma behind the atomic bomb.
Yeah, so to understand how a weapon like that ends up in a 43-second free fall over a city, we kind of have to look at the deadlock that preceded it.
Right.
By 1941, the U.S. had choked off like 80% of Japan's oil supply, and this was a direct response to their imperialist expansion across Asia.
But wait, I want to clarify something here, because Japan knew they couldn't win a protracted war of attrition against U.S. industrial power, right?
So, absolutely not.
So what was the actual end game of attacking Pearl Harbor? I mean, looking at it, it seems like kind of a guaranteed death sentence.
Well, it was a highly calculated, albeit doomed, gamble. Like, the whole mechanism of their strategy was simply to buy time.
Buy time for what?
They basically wanted to deliver a knockout blow to the Pacific Fleet just long enough, maybe a 6-month buffer, to secure the oil-rich Dutch East Indies.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, they wanted to fortify their defensive perimeter. The hope was that the U.S. would, choose to negotiate rather than fight this grueling, bloody island-hopping campaign.
Which obviously didn't happen. I mean, it just dragged the U.S. entirely into the conflict.
Exactly. It led directly to that exact bloody campaign they were trying to avoid.
Right.
And what's fascinating here is the psychological landscape inside Japan that kept that conflict going, especially the gridlock within the Japanese Supreme Council.
Mm-hmm.
The state had deeply manipulated the traditional Bushido code. The emperor, Hirohito, wasn't just like a monarch to them. He was revered as a literal god.
Wow.
So surrender wasn't just a military loss, it was the destruction of their divine national identity. That's the psychological mechanism that gave us kamikaze pilots.
And even children trained with explosives to throw themselves into tanks, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's total societal mobilization.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Because that absolute refusal to surrender forced the U.S. into this horrifying mathematical calculation.
It really did.
Coming off the Battle of Okinawa, which was just an absolute bloodbath, the U.S. military estimated a full-scale ground invasion of the mainland would drag on for 10 years. Yes, and cost around 1 million American lives.
Which, brings us to the Manhattan Project.
Yeah.
The Allies issued the Potsdam Declaration demanding unconditional surrender.
Right, but that phrasing offered no guarantee the emperor would be protected from prosecution, right?
Exactly, or protected from removal. So Japan rejected it, and, well, the U.S. deployed the bombs.
And the reality on the ground was just incomprehensible.
Truly. The blasts created instant 4,000-degree Celsius infernos, just vaporizing the center of the cities.
God, and it triggered that toxic black rain, right?
Yeah, essentially poisonous radioactive grease falling from the sky. It caused roughly 200,000 casualties across Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
But I have to push back on the military logic here. I mean, if the objective was purely to force a surrender, why target densely populated cities where, 95% of the victims were civilians?
Right, instead of an isolated military base or something.
Exactly. Why not drop it on a deserted island just to demonstrate the overwhelming power? And just to be clear to you listening, we aren't taking sides on this politically charged issue. We're just impartially conveying the arguments found in the source material.
Oh, absolutely. We're just looking at the historical debate. And the sources highlight two starkly different perspectives on this.
Okay, what's the first one?
So, the U.S. military argued that a regime so thoroughly brainwashed simply wouldn't surrender to a mere demonstration. They believed only a catastrophic existential shock would break the Supreme Council's deadlock.
Okay, and the flip side?
On the flip side, critics point out that the Soviet Union invaded Manchuria just hours before the Nagasaki bombing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they argue that facing a massive two-front war against both the U.S. and the Soviets would have forced Japan's surrender anyway, rendering the civilian bombings totally unnecessary.
So what does this all mean? I mean, it's incredibly easy to look at history through the comfort of clinical statistics,
Yeah.
weighing 1 million theoretical lives against 200,000 real ones.
Right, it sanitizes it.
Exactly. But the sources brought up this striking thought experiment from a psychologist regarding nuclear protocols. Put yourself in that room.
Okay.
Imagine if, to authorize a strike, a world leader couldn't just turn a key. Instead, the launch codes were implanted next to the heart of a volunteer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and the leader had to personally carve them out with a butcher knife to retrieve them. It completely destroys that comfortable, sanitized distance of pushing a button.
Wow. This raises an important question, though, about how leaders justify catastrophic choices. Like, it forces anyone in power to confront the deeply personal, visceral reality of the violence behind their utilitarian math.
Yeah. In 1945, that utilitarian math was choosing 200,000 civilian deaths to prevent 1 million military deaths.
Right. Okay.
But think about how that mathematical justification holds up today. If we ever deploy modern nuclear weapons, it wouldn't just end a war. It could end human civilization entirely.
It really could.
So the next time you look up at a beautifully sunny, ordinary morning sky, ask yourself, are we still relying on the same brutal calculations that once shattered a Monday in Hiroshima?